Hello everyone, welcome to Arpita Sharma classes. I am Arpita Sharma, your educator, and today we are going to analyze the important current affairs from the Hindu newspaper for 19th June 2020. आज हम कुछ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट करंट अफेयर्स 19 जून 2020 ये द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर से एनालाइज करने जा रहे हैं. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट एनालाइजिंग द करंट अफेयर्स. बिफोर दैट हियर्स अ स्मॉल अनाउंसमेंट फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू. द क्लास पीडीएफ विल बी अपलोडेड ऑन माय टेलीग्राम चैनल. क्लास का जो पीडीएफ है हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल पे अपलोड हो जाएगा. यू कैन गेट इट फ्रॉम देयर. द नेम ऑफ माय टेलीग्राम चैनल इज सिंप्लीफाइंग यूपीएससी विद ईज. टेलीग्राम चैनल का नाम है सिंप्लीफाइंग यूपीएससी विद ईज. Now let's get started without any delay. Start करते हैं अपनी क्लास को. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel Arpita Sharma classes for daily Hindu news analysis, important international organization related class, polity class, economic MCQ class, etc. Also you can get 10% discount if you use my referral code Sharma20. Crash course on current affairs I am taking in NCERT Pol Science classes I am taking. So you can get 10% discount over that as well. Alright, let's start with analyzing the newspaper. India goes to win in Security Council polls. Very important news for today. India has scored a major diplomatic victory to enter the non-permanent category of UN Security Council when elections were held for the 5 non-permanent members. Very, very important news. Now the details of this news is that India has won 184 votes out of 192 valid votes cast. जो 192 वोट कास्ट किए गए थे इंडिया को 184 वोट्स मिले हैं. Finally we have scored a major diplomatic win to enter the non-permanent category of UNSC. UNSC की परमानेंट कैटेगरी में हमें सीट चाहिए थी जो कि अब मिल चुकी है. इंडियाज टर्म विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम Jan 2021 एंड दिस टर्म विल बी वेरी क्रिटिकल फॉर इंडिया. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी नीड टू पुश आवर एफर्ट्स टू रिफॉर्म द सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल एंड सीक अ परमानेंट मेंबरशिप. राइट नाउ वी हैव गॉट दी नॉन परमानेंट मेंबरशिप. राइट, यही हमारे लिए सबसे अच्छी विन है अभी. बट नाउ वी आर एमिंग टू गेट द परमानेंट मेंबरशिप. सो दिस टर्म विच इज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2021 इज वेरी 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 क्रूशियल फॉर अस. ये हमारे लिए काफी ज्यादा ही क्रूशियल है. ठीक है. सो नाउ previously India has been elected as a non-permanent member of the council 7 times. Ireland, Mexico, Norway were also elected as non-permanent members of UNSC. Now we have a 5S approach, right? हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने 5S approach यूज किया है. फर्स्ट इज सम्मान. सम्मान मीन्स रिस्पेक्ट. देन इज संवाद. संवाद मीन्स कम्युनिकेशन, डायलॉग. Then is Sahyog, that means cooperation, and Shanti. Shanti means peace, and Samriddhi, which means prosperity. This is our approach towards this term. Now this is a very very important editorial, mediation in the age of COVID-19. Now in the prevailing conditions because of this pandemic, deprived of their natural settling of the courtroom, judges, lawyers, they have fallen back to the talk of virtual courts, so that the bare essential is achieved. That is the essential cases can be solved. The judge being able to hear the particular lawyer. Now all the other features of courtroom are avoided. Thus an essentially public setting is converted to a closed door one. Right. So here this editorial is talking about mediation as a tool for dispute resolution in this era of pandemic. What is mediation? Let us understand that. It is an informal but structured settlement procedure. If there is a dispute between two parties, it can be settled down through communication, that is known as mediation. It is a form of alternative dispute resolution, resolving dispute between two or more parties. कहते हैं ना आउट ऑफ द कोर्ट सेटलमेंट कर लो, या दो पार्टीज के बीच में थोड़े तनाव होता है तो कोई मीडिएटर आकर दोनों पार्टीज की बात सुनकर अपना फैसला सुनाकर उस केस को सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करता है. उसी को हम मीडिएशन बोलते हैं. नाउ अनलाइक एन आर्बिट्रेटर, द मीडिएटर इज नॉट अ डिसीजन मेकर. देखो, मीडिएटर विल नॉट मेक अ डिसीजन. He will just provide a solution, right? To accept it or not, that is in the hands of the parties. But the arbitrator, he will give a solution, he will give a decision, right? Clear? So conventional litigation and arbitration, they are vintage, that is very old, spanning hundreds of years and rendition of judges and lawyers. As a process, structured mediation is very relatively new, right? Legislation has given it the legal structure and safeguards, and provided the assurance that the courts will implement mediation agreements as well. Now what is happening in this pandemic? Online mediation is happening. Now how will online mediation help? It will enable the mediator and the parties to assemble together, each on their computer screens, perhaps hundreds of miles away. right? And discussion can be guided, giving parties and lawyers the opportunity to put forth their views. जो आपका ऑफिशियली होता है वो अब आपका जो फिजिकली होता है फेस टू फेस वो चीज अब आपकी डिजिटली होगी, right? Now, what are the advantages of mediation? Mediation is becoming very, very popular. Why? Because people are starting to observe the benefits of settling outside the court, right? Court में जाते हैं, cases get pending, the cases are pending there, then the justice is delayed. So to escape from all this haphazard situation, mediation is very good tool. Why? Because out of the court settlement is easier one. Mediation saves resources and time for all the parties involved as well as the judicial system as well. Parties do not have to undergo adjournments and multiple visits, multiple dates, right? It is the polar opposite of the court process. Clear? That is the advantage. Plus it is a closed door communication. किसी के सामने नहीं हो रहा है कि आपको प्राइवेसी का डर है. Closed door mediation, only 3 parties are involved. What are the concerns regarding online mediation? Online mediation has a host of advantage, but also bears some cautioning, some warning. Confidentiality can be compromised because the hearings can be recorded. जो online mediation हो रही है हो सकता है hearings को record कर लिया जाए. और technical glitches also you can say act as a you can say disruption, right? इंटरनेट सर्विसेज में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, टेक्निकल ग्लिचेस हैं, उससे भी मीडिएशन प्रोसेस की इफेक्टिवनेस कम हो सकती है. देयर आर कंसर्न्स दैट ऑनलाइन कम्युनिकेशन विल एक्सक्लूड द अंडर प्रिविलेज बिकॉज दोज हु कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू हैव इंटरनेट कनेक्शंस और डू नॉट हैव लैपटॉप्स और हाई टेक गैजेट्स एक्सेट्रा. So for them it is very difficult to conduct the online mediation, to participate in online mediation, right? So what is the way forward in this case? Service providers have to be very careful and strict rules have to be laid out to penalize the breaching party. Technical glitches have to be minimized. Internet services must gear up, right? Screen clarity should be there. If the state and its courts are going to allow and encourage online mediation to solve the dispute, then weaker parties must be helped and enabled to avail this facility as well, right? Next important editorial is Galwan postscript to a tragedy. You all know that 20 Indian personnel, including a colonel, they were killed in violent clashes with Chinese troops along the line of actual control in Ladakh. It has been assumed all along that there would be a de-escalation of confrontation, right? Rajnath Singh ji was also saying that we will communicate, right? So it was being presumed that we will de-escalate the confrontation, we will have a talk with Chinese side, we will communicate with them. But this incident which happened, 20 Indian personnel were killed, right, in the violent clash. This incident that happened, it represents a watershed in India's relations with China, and it marks the end of 45-year chapter which saw no armed confrontation involving loss of lives on line of actual control. The period of bilateral relations, it was inaugurated with former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's visit to China in December 1988, and it also drew to a close in the darkness of that fateful night. Resuming business as usual with China after this seems unlikely. अब इस इंसिडेंट के बाद फिर से चाइना के साथ नॉर्मली बर्ताव करना बहुत ही ज़्यादा अनलाइकली है, बहुत ही इम्पॉसिबल है. Now, noting on this scale was witnessed even in the run-up to the conflict between two countries in 1962. In October 1959, there was a face-off between Indian and Chinese troops at Konka La, and there 9 Indian soldiers were killed and 3 soldiers were detained. It was after Konka La dispute, this confrontation, that the national mood turned against Chinese, complicated by the revolt in Tibet, in which we granted asylum to Dalai Lama also. And there was a very little room left for negotiation. The conflict in 1962 inflicted gaping wounds on the national soul and prestige, from which India took time to recover also. So is India at the similar juncture today that it was in 1962 or 1959? India and China are at a very different place as compared to 1959. We have grown immensely in strength. We have a global, you can say a position, a very strong global position. Our relations have substance, right? Our relations have become diverse, and both the countries must keep check the statements that are mutually accusatory, right? We are disclaiming responsibility for the tragic turn of events, and we need to check it out. We need to keep an eye over it, right? Next important news, Nepal's new map now part of constitution. The upper house of Nepal's parliament has passed the second constitution amendment bill 2077. that is Vikram era. They are taking Vikram era in context. The new map claims parts of Indian territory in Pithoradgarh district. Voting and the presidential assent have completed the legislative procedure of the bill that was taken up by the government of Nepal after India inaugurated the Darchula-Lipu Lake link road. Nepal immediately protested, saying the road violated the status quo. अब ये जो नया मैप है, this is going to result into territorial disputes between India and Nepal. India and Nepal have had a long history of cultural relations, you can say relation-based, the religion-based relations, right? But now because of this territorial issue, we are going to have a face-off with Nepal. So this topic was also covered in 14th June 2020's Daily News Analysis. India to take part in meeting of RIC grouping. The Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed that India will participate in virtual meeting of Russia, India, China grouping, that is the RIC grouping. Russian reiteration of support for dialogue between China and India came even through Moscow's foreign minister. Now this grouping is very important. Why? ये grouping क्यों important है? Because of the latest fight between India and China, latest disputes going on between India and China. Right? It can act as a platform to solve the differences mutually between India and China. So, Russia, India, China trilateral grouping during the 2019 G20 summit in Osaka, Russia, India, China held latest iteration of a trilateral meeting. RIC brings together three largest Eurasian countries. It's very important trilateral grouping because these three countries, India, China, Russia, are nuclear powers also. Russia and China are permanent members of the UN Security Council, right? And India was also aspiring to become one. RIC can complement India's continental ambitions as well. Plus, Russia act कर सकता है India और China के बीच में mediator के तौर पे. Russia can become the bridge between India and China, right? Now, next important topic, mobile lab to improve access to testing. Union Health Minister has launched country's first mobile eye lab, that is infectious disease diagnostic lab, for last mile COVID-19 testing access. Now here you need to remember this for prelims. ये आपको prelims के लिए याद रखना है because it was also in PIB. This is India's first eye lab for COVID testing in rural and inaccessible areas of India. Eye lab has been created in a record time of 8 days by Andhra Pradesh. You have to remember which state has developed it. It is Andhra Pradesh. It has teamed up with DBT under National Biopharma Mission and it has been implemented by public sector BIRAC. Okay, it has been deployed through Department of Biotechnology. Remember this. ठीक है, इसको याद रखिएगा. Next important news is Umifenover to undergo clinical trial. CSIR CDRI's candidate drug Umifenover secures DCGI approval also for phase 3 clinical trial against COVID-19. Now, CSIR Constituent Lab, CSIR Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow, has received permission for carrying out phase 3 randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial of efficacy, safety and tolerability of antiviral drug Umifenover. This is very, very important because it is mainly used for treatment of influenza and it is also available in China and Russia. Okay, now India is also trying to experiment with this drug. US bill to sanction China over Uyghur rights. US President Donald Trump has signed legislation calling for sanctions over the repression of China's Uyghurs. So here we need to remember what are Uyghurs. These are a minority Turkic ethnic group originating from and culturally affiliated with general region of Central and East Asia. They are considered to be one of China's 55 officially recognized ethnic minorities. Okay, you have to remember this for prelims. AGR demand from non-telco PSUs withdrawn, government tells Supreme Court. Union government has informed the Supreme Court that it had withdrawn 96% of its 4 lakh crore demand in adjusted gross revenue. The turnaround comes after the court pulled up government for misusing its October 2019 judgment to get out money from PSUs like DMRC. Right? So this is very important news for prelims GS paper 3. Union government ने Supreme Court को issue किया है guideline कि that it had withdrawn 96% of its 4 lakh crore demand in the adjusted gross revenue. Now adjusted gross revenue, this has been in news since 2019. आपको ये याद रखना पड़ेगा prelims के लिए. So this was all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's class. If you really enjoyed it, do not forget to like it, share it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.